What is going on, guys? In today's video, we will actually be starting a little mini series going over my top 5 macronutrient sources. So whether that be proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. I have gotten quite a few questions over the last few days and also past weeks regarding nutrition and like what I eat in a day. So I will be doing a full day of eating, but I thought this mini series would be quite helpful for you guys to just get some ideas of how you could put together some meals with some healthy proteins, carbs, and fat sources. And with that being said, if you are enjoying the content, please make sure to subscribe. It would help me out a ton. And according to YouTube's analytics, roughly 86% of the viewers that I do have on this channel are not subscribed yet. So please just scroll down and hit that red button, as it would mean a ton to me. But without further ado, let's hop straight into my top 5 protein sources. At number 1 on the list is ultimately wild game. And when I refer to wild game, I am more just focusing in on venison and elk. And with that, the reason behind wild game being at the top of my list, there are really just 2 big reasons. One, there is very low levels of fat found in wild game. So you do avoid some saturated fats that can be found in like livestock, meats that you would find predominantly at grocery stores and that stuff, and is one of the big leading causes to heart disease and heart problems. So you avoid that big one. And then also it is packed full of minerals and has some vitamins along with it, with zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, vitamins like B12 and B6. And for that reason, it is at the top of my list. Unfortunately, wild game is a bit harder to get your hands on and isn't always in my diet, but if it could be, it would be my number 1 go-to protein source. Alrighty, at number 2 is any lean cut of beef, ultimately, whether that be round steaks, tenderloins, sirloins, another good option. Obviously, those can be quite expensive. And then also you could just go with the traditional ground beef. And if you are to do this, I would look for fat contents that are like 90% lean, 10% fat, or even 93.7 can be a great option. And if you are to buy one of the less lean ground beefs, you can always strain the fat, and that will bring the fat content down. So while you're cooking it, or after you've cooked it, just strain it with some water, and that will get rid of quite a bit of fat, and you can bring that fat content down without sacrificing the money that you would have to put towards getting a leaner ground beef. And with that, the reasoning behind having beef number 2 on the list is ultimately the same as with wild game. It is packed full of different minerals and then also vitamins, whether that is like vitamin B12, vitamin B6, and then minerals like zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, as I did mention earlier with wild game. At number 3 on the list is the most traditional bodybuilding food, and that is ultimately chicken breast. And the reasoning behind having chicken breast number 3 on the list is you can find it and it's readily available at a good cost in terms of other meat choices. And then with it, it does have niacin and selenium, which can be good for your immune health. And then also selenium has been shown to help with thyroid, and also hormonal levels. So just in general, chicken breast, you cannot go wrong as a protein source to include in your diet. And number 4 on the list is ultimately Greek yogurt. And I'm talking about the non-fat Greek yogurt, as it does come packed with 18 grams of protein per serving, and then also it does have just 6 grams of carbs. And ultimately, the reason that I do put it on my list for protein is because of all the great benefits that it does have. It does have probiotics, which are great for digestion and immune system function. And then also with that, the cultures that you can find in Greek yogurt allow for digestion to be more comparable for those that are lactose intolerant. So if you don't have dairy in your diet, it definitely could be a good thing to try and mix in and see if you can actually digest the sugars that often people with lactose intolerant can't digest. And with that being said, it is also a good source of calcium for bone health, and then also does have iodine in it, which is great for thyroid and hormonal health. And last but not least on the list at number 5 is protein powders. The reason behind this is it's an easy and convenient source of protein that you can include in your diet. There's a ton of different flavors that you can get out there, whether it's from fruit flavors of isolate that mix well with water, all the way to your like triple chocolate German cakes or peanut butters or anything along those lines. And then also it comes in a ton of different types, whether that be whey, isolate, casein, vegan based ones, soy based protein powders, all of like that. And then also you can include protein powder in a wide array of different recipes, whether that's protein pancakes, cupcakes, pretty much anything that would have a flour. You can substitute in a bit of protein powder, and it can be a great option to hit your protein goals. So with that being said, that ultimately concludes my list of top 5 protein sources. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy and can get something out of this list. Ultimately, there are quite a few different sources of protein that I didn't include on this list, but ultimately these are just my top 5. You should definitely try out a different array in your diet and see what works for you ultimately. But if you did go on to enjoy, like I mentioned before, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content, and then also like the video as it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next one.